Now it is.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Good evening, everyone. 1 second. Mine's not. I always make noise, funny.
This one. Check. No, this one is not.
It's not.
Well, I turned it on. Check, check. All right.
This way.
Okay, so we can get started.
You want to just use that one?
You sure?
It's okay.
All right, let's share. Okay,
Can't go too far, but.
no, that's fine. Good evening and welcome to the July 10th, 2025 meeting of the Jersey City Zoning Board of Adjustment. This meeting is held in accordance with NJSA 10:4-12, the Open Public Meetings Act. I would like to call this meeting to order. To begin, Mr. Beasley, are there any sunshine announcements that you would like to share with us?
Yes. In accordance with the Open Public Meeting Act, notice has been provided to the Bergen Record, LS Bolito, as well as posted with the city clerk. I'd like to request to mark this as B1 for the record.
Okay, will you please take roll call?
Yes. Commissioner Patel,
Here.
Commissioner Allen,
Here.
Commissioner D'Angelo, and Commissioner Barron,
Here.
Vice Chair Ruhl,
Here.
Chair Coyle.
Present. For this meeting, we have our new Commissioner, Jody D'Angelo. She is present tonight. She will not be a voting member tonight. She will just be sitting in attendance and listening to tonight's discussion. At this time, I ask everyone to please stand for the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Bridget, will you please swear in our staff?
Well, okay.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony or comments you're about to give this evening will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Eric, is there any correspondence you need to share with us? Any
Yes.
adjournments?
Yes, the attorney for case 12 under new business, Z 2025-0020, reached out and requested to carry this item to August 7th with preservation of notice. Oh, no, it's case Z 2025-0020. They requested to carry with
Yes.
with preservation of notice.
Any adjournments?
Other than the item that's listed under other adjournments, there aren't any other items that are adjourning.
Okay. So this evening, we have 3 cases. It looks like they're all with Mr. Lean. You're going to be a busy man tonight. So we can begin with our first case, which is Z2025-0041, a 1-year extension at 130 Summit Avenue.
Good evening, Commissioners. Tom Lean from Connell Foley here on behalf of the applicant. I do have 3 matters this evening. They are all related to the same property, and really they all deal with the same subject matter. So the question is does the board want me to just present it all at one time and then you can vote on it at the very end, or do you want to hear each case individually and then vote on them as we finish?
I think we should hear,
Hear it all at once.
well, I was
I
going to
had
say
a
the first
feeling-
one is very simple.
Yes.
Where we just do a 1-year extension, so why don't we just do that one and get that over with?
If that is the case, then what I will do is I noticed these in different sets because we realized that when we weren't heard on June 5th, the approval had expired. So why don't we do the extension up first if that
Yes.
works, and then we can proceed with the subdivision of the site.
Okay.
Just give it to Bridget so she can mark it, because we've looked at the notices.
And this will be A1 in evidence, 1 moment. A1.
Okay. I will actually use this opportunity to sort of remind the board of what this project is. It is the rehabilitation of the St. John's Episcopal Church, which is a historic site. It's currently located at 130 Summit Avenue. It is close to the corner of Summit Avenue and Fairmont. It is an approximately 120-year-old church, and my client is seeking to not only renovate it, but add an addition to it and develop approximately 81 units on site. The board has previously actually approved the development here, and we're back before the board because the fundamental issue is that in order to fund and actually construct this project, we're going to need to subdivide the church itself off from the new construction portion of it. The main reason for that is my client is not only getting money from the state, from the Landmark Society, but also from Jersey City's DCD, which is the Department of Community Development. When this was originally approved, obviously there was the renovation of the church, 5 stories within the church, within the existing framework of the church, and a 5-story addition on the side of it. In total, there was 82 units approved between the 2 buildings. What it was approved at was 39 in the existing church and 42 within the new development. When we obviously had conversations with the city and with Historic about subdividing these so we could fund them in different manners, basically getting the funding for the historic portion of it while my client gets funding for the new portion of it, we realized we probably do need to subdivide them. And so we filed an application not only with the zoning board, but with Historic. Historic has granted us a certificate of appropriateness already. But in the meantime, unfortunately, the approval expired. So the first step here is just to ask you to extend it for 1 more year. You've already granted a 2-year one here. So this is our 3rd and final one. So we would ask for the extension first, and then we'll provide you with the information on the subdivision. And obviously, now that the lots have shrunk, we're just going to have to show you how that affects the previous variances we had received.
Okay, so is there anyone from the public here or anyone else? Okay. Commissioners, do you have any questions concerning this? Okay, Mr. Beasley, would you like to take a vote on that? Can I hear a motion to,
Matt,
I said, there you go.
yeah,
Madam Chair, I'd like to
motion.
make a motion to approve KZ 2025-001 as presented to the board this evening.
can I get a second?
I second.
Mr. Beasley?
Commissioner Patel? Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
Commissioner Barron?
Aye.
Vice Chair Rule?
Yes.
Chair Coyle?
Yes.
Motion carries 5 in favor, none opposed.
Okay. Let's move on to case Z2025-0002. I think we want to hear about the minor subdivision, and let's do that piece as well.
Okay, I will mark my exhibits for this case. I noticed for both the subdivision and the site plan amendment within one notice, so this packet covers both of those.
But we're going to work on the first case first. Okay.
First time I see this.
Because you backed me up.
work, some don't work.
Okay, so the minor subdivision you're going to see, just to give some background here, we are in the R1 district. As the board might be aware, the R1 changed pretty substantially when the city took a look at the master plan. And one of the biggest things that changed was within the R1, 1 and 2 district, multifamily buildings are no longer a non-permitted use in the R1 district. So just to give a little context of what we're doing here, we are taking 2 lots that would conform under the R1, both previously and now, and we're just putting these 2 multifamily buildings within those zones. And I'm just going to very briefly have Mr. Andre Sean, who is our surveyor, walk you through the subdivision that I have up here. Eric, I don't know if you can put that up for everybody.
Oh, it's already been connected.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And state and spell your full name for the record.
Andre Shan, ANDRESCHAN.
Mr. Chan, I don't believe you have testified in front of this board. If you haven't, or if you did, it was quite some time ago. So we would just briefly give them the benefit of whether you are a licensed surveyor in the state of New Jersey and whether your license is current.
Okay, I am currently a licensed land surveyor in the state of New Jersey and have been since 1985.
And the survey, the subdivision plat that is before you, you did not prepare it, but you did review it?
Yes, correct. I did not prepare it, I did review it.
Okay. And you've reviewed the zoning table that was prepared by the licensed surveyor in concert with our professional planner?
Yes,
And the 2 lots that are proposed conform to Jersey City's ordinance?
yes, they do.
Okay. I have no further questions for this witness.
Okay. Okay.
And that's our
That's
testimony.
That's your presentation? Okay. All right, so is there anyone from the public to ask any questions? I see no one. We'll close the public portion. Commissioners, do you have any comments or questions? Okay. Can I get a motion to vote on case Z2025-002?
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion, excuse me, to approve KZ 2025-0002 as presented to the board this evening.
Can I get a second?
I second it.
Commissioner Patel? Commissioner Allen?
Yes.
Commissioner Barron?
Aye.
Vice Chair Rule?
Aye.
Chair Coyle?
Yes.
Motion carries, 5 in favor, none opposed.
Okay. Okay. Our next case is Z2025-0004, final major site plan amendment for 130 Summit Avenue.
Okay. So as previously stated, the 2 buildings that were approved here were really approved as one, but the subdivision that the board just approved is going to create them as 2 separate buildings. So the final numbers on what you're going to see, it's 39 dwelling units and 12 parking spaces in the church, 42 dwelling units and 18 parking spaces in the new building. I'm going to have Mr. Chris Westcott get up here, walk you through what was approved, walk you through what we worked on historic with, and the other big thing that I should mention here is this was approved originally with 9 affordable units. If we are able to move forward here and he's able to get the financing that would be required from the subdivision that you just approved, that number actually increases to 11 affordable units. That's a requirement of his funding from the CDC. And not only are those affordable, but all of them would be 50% of AMI or less. 50, 50% of AMI or less, which normally there would be a mix of moderate units and low and lower income. This would all be low and lower income. So with that said, I'll let Mr. Westcott just walk you through very briefly what has already been approved, but so you can see the pretty pictures and see what my client's going to do.
What else would I do here? Yeah.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Raise your right hand at this point.
Okay.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and
I do. Christopher Westcott, CHRISTOPHER, last name WESTCOTT.
Have you ever presented before this board?
Mr.
Yes,
Westcott,
yeah,
have
if
you
you-
presented in front of this board before?
I have virtually a few years ago on a few different projects.
And
yes,
you are a
but
licensed architect in the state of New Jersey?
I am. My license is current. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I submit him as an expert.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. If you wanted to, sure. Oh, is it? It's still. There we go. As long as we're good. So, yeah. So obviously, there's a lot of different directions we could go, but I'll kind of give a brief update on. Just wait for them. I'll give a brief update on where this project is now versus the last approval that occurred for the property. So I'll go to the. I'll scroll through the civil drawings to the architectural plans, because the ground floor architectural plan is likely the first change that'll be noticeable for the property, other than the subdivision, which has just been approved. So when you go to the first floor plan, one of the things that's changed is that in the previous approval, there was proposed 2 dwelling units in the front portion of what is now currently called the gallery space of the church. As part of discussions with SHPO and when the time comes NPS, the intent would be that those spaces would turn into an open gallery space. 2 units were removed because of that.
And when
Yes.
you refer to SHPO, you're talking about the state's historic
Historic
office.
Preservation Board,
Yes,
that's
yes,
correct.
yes.
And so that would have removed 2 units from the project, bringing it down to 80. In the meantime, the owner was also looking into the option of potentially putting 1 additional unit inside of the church. And so what he's proposing to do, and what we're proposing as part of this plan, is the inclusion of 1 additional unit in where is essentially the clear story section of the church above where the lofted residential units are already proposed. So this won't make any modification to the gallery space below. It'll turn a space that was, a triple height space above some of the loft units into still a tall ceiling, I think 12 or 13 feet within them. But then above there, you would have 1 unit in the clear story of the church. I believe we have a section, but I can confirm. So I'll try to zoom in on this a little bit, but. And of course, it feels like not moving now. Let me go to the next page. So if you can see up on the top of the screen, detail 2 on sheet A300 is the 3rd story dwelling unit above the lofted units within the church. So the lofted units have a 1st story entrance on the ground floor and then stairs within the unit that bring you up to the 2nd floor. This would have an entrance from the 3rd floor at the elevator lobby, bringing you directly into that dwelling unit. So it'll have a different entrance from the rest, but all part of the same construction of the church, the renovation of the church and the addition of the new construction on the rear of it, which are all part of the same property. So this all works within the subdivision, which was just approved. And again, if you guys have any questions as I go through, let me know. We've been staring at this project for years at this point, so everything kind of seems back of hand. But I'll just kind of go through a few other items that I think are worth mentioning here too. So the facades of the building from the last approval have not changed from what they were before. You still have the same entranceway into the buildings. In fact, the entrance to the let me see if I can draw it on here. But essentially, the subdivision cuts where the drop in the building is, where you actually have the small walkway that brings you between both buildings. So when you're looking at it from Summit Ave, the left side, the main entrance of the building is going to be this right here, which is on the left side of the subdivision when looking from the street, on the other property from the church, which has the entrance on the right. That central corridor, you could call, between both of those structures is where that delineation occurs.
And I think it's important to mention that these 2 buildings can function independently of each other, given that we just received a subdivision to make these 2 separate properties. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
So both properties will have their own electrical services. Both properties will have their own sprinkler systems in them, and will be able to be turned on and off as separate properties. The only item that, if I can go back to the site plan or this floor plan, so one item that will require connection between both properties and an easement. Oh, there's two of them, I suppose. So the first one of them is the egress from the basement of both properties. You can kind of see along where that property line is in the middle. I'll save you guys from me not zooming in. That's not going to work, is it? Too much. Definitely messing something up. Okay. So along what is now currently on the middle right side of the sheet is an egress pathway from both the church and the basement of the new construction building on Summit Ave. Those both share a connected egress pathway that will have easements between the properties in order to allow for egress from both of them in perpetuity. The other item, which is currently in discussion with PSE&G, is the transformer pad for both sites. After talking to PSE&G about it, the intent is that we would have one transformer that runs both properties. Part of the reason is that you would either require to have them inside the buildings, or you would have large 10-foot by 10-foot transformer pads, one for each site, likely, making it not as nice at the entrance of the Summit Ave building because there's not much site area other than the nice landscaped area out front. And so what the proposal is currently is to actually have one transformer along the northern side of the property so that when you're looking between both buildings, for example, here, you won't actually see a transformer. It'll be off to the right side behind some landscaping and a sign. I believe we talked about it with Dan Reed and the possibility of doing a historic sign along that in front. That would be removable if they need, and along with bollards, removable in case they need access to the transformer, but ostensibly put in front of the transformer so it's not, staring at you from the street. Going back to the submission package, the other thing of note is the roof terraces. The previous application had one roof terrace along the Clifton Ave portion of the church site of the two sites facing New York City. This new proposal includes a terrace on both of those buildings, in addition to an additional stairwell on both of those, so you have an enlarged way of egressing the property. So both of them, in both of the cases, you would have access to the elevator. On the Clifton Ave portion of the property, you'd have two stairs that bring you down. On the Summit Ave portion of the property, you'd have one stair that brings you down. The reason for choosing this stair is because it's actually away from the facade of the building. So with the way our roofs are working, you actually wouldn't see it from the street, is the intent. Is that from Summit Ave, you wouldn't have views of these elevator bulkheads or stair bulkheads in the same way if they were at the edge of the building, which is what the stairwell on Summit Ave on the corner is currently shown at on the lower floors. We stop it there and we just have the stair from the roof coming down from the middle.
And before you move on
Sure.
from this particular sheet,
Yeah.
under the prior approval, we didn't have any green space or solar panel, right?
That's right.
That's actually a new approval under the ordinance as is written now. We've agreed with planning, and we will agree with this as a condition of approval, that we will meet the requirements for the green space or the solar, whatever they think is the most fitting as part of this approval. Yeah.
And one thing of note too is that because of the size of the property, ostensibly, if you were to have taken the entire church side of the property and used that square footage to determine the amount of solar you would need on this roof, it would be much more square footage. What we're proposing is to actually split it up evenly based on the roof size, not based on the lot size. So on the Summit Ave portion of the or on the Summit Ave building, that building will have more of the green or solar panels versus the Clifton Ave, where the roof is smaller, so you'll have less of that. But overall, as in aggregate, both projects will meet the requirement together. And with that, I think that's all I want to bring up now, but I'm open to questions if you have anything you want me to ask me about this.
We usually hold, if you have a question?
I do.
Okay.
Sure.
We usually hold our questions to the end. We have,
Oh, I'm so sorry.
that's okay.
Oh,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to find out what exactly you're going to do with that facade, the front of that, the church. What are you going to do with that as you go
There's
in?
there's going to be an entire restoration scope for the facade of the church. Essentially,
Okay.
it's removing old stone, replacing old stone, new slate shingle roofs, there's a fair scope here. I think it should be called out on the sheet, but essentially it's a full restoration of the facade of the church in addition to the roofs.
So when you go into this building, what do you have?
There's going to be an open gallery space that will likely, for the most part, be used by the residents, but there will be times coordinated with the ownership that will allow access to the public. I think is the way his approvals work with historic in the city.
So
But there will be public access to there based on times and events that are coordinated with the owner.
So it's not going to be used as a church at all, any kind of religious?
No.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I would just use this opportunity to say that you have worked extensively with Historic on this, correct?
That's right, yeah.
And that we've gotten a certificate of appropriateness, not
Correct.
just for the work that we're doing,
Yes.
but we're currently working with Historic to stabilize the building because the building is in
It has been in
really
disrepair.
bad shape
Yeah.
for a long time.
Completely finished.
Sorry.
But we're currently working with Historic to stabilize the building because the building is,
In really bad shape currently. In fact, there's currently no roof on the building. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just beautiful. I mean, I would love to see it in color.
Well, that's what this is for. So we have, I'm excited as well to see what this turns into once everything's restored too. But we're excited for the time finally to come for the renovation of the church. We've been working on this for the past, I think it's been 10 years at least. We definitely did the first structural support work for the roof of the church at least, I guess, 10 years ago at this point. But this would be great to see move forward.
Okay. Okay.
I have nothing further.
All right. Thank you.
And before I bring up Charles Hutt, I will just kind of give context to this. Obviously, there was a number of variances that were approved for this building the first time. Shrinking the size of both properties intensifies those variances. So while we're not asking for very major changes on this building, Charles does need to come up here and explain our reasons for why we feel it's okay to intensify those variances on these smaller properties.
Okay. Thank you.
With that, Mr. Charles Hutt.
do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you, and you may begin.
Yes, Charles Height, last name is spelled Heydt. Good evening, board members. It's always a pleasure to be before the board. We have an exciting project. Obviously, it's been before this board in past on prior approvals. And just as Mr. Lean said, I just wanted to make sure everyone was comfortable with the intensification, as we would call it, with the subdivision. So we are proposing 2 lots where the existing property is 1. For a matter of record, lot 11.03, or in some cases it's 11.01A, that's the property that the church will remain on, is the larger of the 2, that's 16,744 square feet. And then the second lot where the separate detached apartment building will remain is lot 11.04 or 11.01B. That's 11,487 square feet. So that's where we start kind of the discussion, because those lot sizes and the numbers change a lot of the calculations. When we look at the density variance request, the R1 has a basis of 42 units per acre. This board's heard me say that many, many times over. When you run through the new calculations with 39 units, some of them going into the existing church with the addition, and then 42 units going into the new proposed apartment building on the second lot, your density calculations get revised to 103 and 162 units per acre. So these are substantial increases in the numbers, but from prior approvals, the unit count actually decreases by 1. So again, there's no real substantial change in the plans and the proposed number of units, but the decrease in lot size increases the density. Running through 2 others that are directly related to the lot size are lot coverage and building coverage. Common theme here, the denominator changes. The lot coverage on both respective projects increases to 96 and 95% respectively, where 85% is permitted. and then the building coverage with the recalculations adjusts to 76 and 75% respectively. Again, no changes in the footprint, really minor modifications on the interior, and I think what is being done to accommodate the rehabilitation of the church and right-sizing the additions, the main addition and the second building require certain square footage and a certain coverage. So again, that's all been previously discussed, and I think it still is appropriate for the property. The two other variances that aren't so much related to lot size, but just really a recalculation of where these parking spaces and bicycle spaces occur, are another intensification. So with respect to vehicular parking, Lot 03 requires 18 spaces. That's the existing church. Correction, that's the existing church requires 12 spaces, and the proposed lot 1104 requires 18. What's being proposed is 13 spaces with the church. There's a smaller footprint in the rear of the church with the new addition that can accommodate that, and the proposed is 14 for the new structure. The bicycle parking, there's no bicycle parking being proposed on the church property. That property, mainly the church, has been dedicated to apartment units and now the gallery. In the rear addition, there's the vehicular parking. So that layout really was concentrated and focused on accommodating those two aspects. The bicycle parking is provided in the proposed structure on lot 11.04, where there's 24 spaces. Again, so the bicycle parking has not changed. I'm sorry, I thought the rendering was still up. That's why I'm looking up to see if it's still there. But those, again, are really just a matter of where they're occurring on which lot, and we're just clarifying it for each of the proposed properties. When you look at special reasons that would encourage this sort of application or amendment, I do think, as with the first applications or the prior applications, we're looking at Purpose E of the municipal land use law, establishment of appropriate population densities. Notwithstanding the increase in density that we just walked through, I still do think this is an appropriate location. This is a very large property in the R1. To have a subdivision that is in excess of the minimum lot size of 2,500 square feet, I realize that's for a one-family home or a two-family home, but properties of this size, 16,000 and change, 11,000 and change, are substantially larger than what the R1 is intended for, and accommodating infill residential is an appropriate use of a size of that property. I do also think we're promoting a desirable visual environment for a number of reasons, with the rehabilitation of the church, but also the aesthetics of the proposed addition and new proposed apartment building. They've been designed to be consistent in terms of the facade and materials with the existing church. I wouldn't say they're a historic structure, but they do have a lot of historical cues with the peaks and the facade materials. I would also say that with respect to the overall height and massing of the building, nothing's really changing from prior approvals. The peaks of the church are the highest point of the overall property. So while the proposed structures are 5 stories, it's still going to be a little lower than the peak of the church. And while I don't like referencing other adjacent properties, just to the north is a redevelopment project in a separate redevelopment plan, but that is a multi-story building at 10 stories, and I think even one portion might be 11.
Excuse me, Ms. Knight.
Yep.
You don't have any photos or pictures or?
You know, I do. I
for us to
took
look at as you're talking
updated
to
photos.
us?
Do you have, in your set, you had photos?
I have, so as part of the presentation, I have elevations that show it, yeah.
You want photos of?
Well, you're saying to me about height and whatever, I'd like to just see that.
So I'll show you what we have. But ostensibly, we have elevations that show our height in relation to the neighboring, so I'll pull up what's currently there. So that's, on the right side of the screen, you'll see the adjacent property, which is the 10-story property, I believe, and then along Clifton Ave, I think it ends up being approximately 11 stories. But that's in reference of height of what the surroundings are.
Thank you.
Yep.
This is a really useful image to help with that. So you can see on the far right, this is the project that's in the Summit Fairmount redevelopment plan. We're not advocating for 10 stories. We're at 5 stories. But you can see the context and the relationship. This will be the immediately adjacent structure to the proposed 5 stories along Summit Avenue. Okay, so that's building height and desirable visual environment. I do think enough is being done and appropriate design techniques are being involved with the development here. And lastly, I think Purpose J, to promote the preservation of historic sites, is also being met and furthered with this application. And that's always been part of the theme with the adaptive reuse. With respect to negative criteria, I don't believe there's any substantial detriment to the general welfare. I actually think the lower parking count will actually reduce the number of vehicles in and out of the property. So notwithstanding the variance, I think this is a very walkable neighborhood. There's a lot of mixed uses along Summit and in the greater area. With respect to the overall massings, I do think that the positioning and setbacks that were previously approved are still the same. They're not being exacerbated or shrunk, so they're still appropriate for appropriate light and air. With respect to the zone plan or zoning ordinance, we are referencing the new R1 standards. Most projects that pursue affordable housing would do so under the new affordable housing overlay. And that actually would remove the requirement for a density variance and parking variance. This application isn't relying on the AHO from a formal standpoint. As Mr. Lean mentioned, the affordable units are really a product of the financing with the city from the Department of Community Development, not so much an application under the new affordable housing ordinance. We're actually in excess of the 10% that would be required. We're proposing 11 units where 8 are required. I'm bringing this up not so much as an excuse as to not why we're not complying with the AHO, but I actually think we're doing more than the AHO would require. So I don't think there's an impairment there. Again, I don't think there's an impairment to the R1 standards generally. The purpose is to accommodate infill residential development, and that is this project. The master plan also advocates for adaptive reuse and historic preservation. So I think this project completes both of those. That's my testimony. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Okay, at this time, is there anyone, Mr. Lean, are you finished?
Oh, I would just mention that I got the chance to actually go visit the interior of this church back on a very, very cold January day with Dan Reed, and it's in really bad condition on the inside of it. But even when you stepped inside, you could see what the potential is there. So I think this is a great project. I think it's providing affordability. It's providing a public space, and it's repairing a historic element of the city that I think will look great and be a great place to live. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you.
Let me ask you a question. How many affordable apartments are you putting up?
It's all told, it's 11 units,
And how many units are you building?
82.
So required affordable is 8, but you're giving us 11.
The
11.
affordable is, and then again,
Eight.
just to add on top of that, it's not just that, it's all less than 50% of AMI. Normally, we would, what was previously approved was 9 just moderate units. So this is 11, and that means that they're all low or very low income units. So it really raises the
Very good.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, at this time, I see someone just walked in. Are you looking to make a comment about this project?
Yes.
Okay.
Wanted to ask a question.
So you could come up, we'll open the public portion. Okay.
Do I have to say my name?
Raise your right hand. Be sworn. Do you swear or affirm the testimony or questions you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And if you can state and spell your full name and provide your address.
Erica Barnes, Erika Barnes, and my address is 185A Randolph Avenue, Jersey City, New Jersey. So with the 11 affordable units, isn't it still kind of cutting what the requirements are for it, or no?
The requirements for that size is, I believe it said 10% of the units, and
So
they're providing 11.
So 11, so what will the income requirement be for that?
Yeah. So part of the reason, again, for doing this is the funding we're going to get from the city, and that lowers that requirement to 50% of AMI for all 11 of the units. And I just want to point out, when we first came to the board with this years ago, there was no requirement for affordability. It was part of the give back for what we were asking for from the variances. I think what Mr. Height pointed out was, if we were to come before this board and say we're using the affordability, the affordable housing overlay or the inclusionary zoning ordinance, it would be 10%. We're above that, and we're the affordability level is less than what would be required if we were to use either the affordable housing overlay or the IZO.
I think that the question was,
What the number is.
what would the
What's the
rent
income
be,
level?
or income level?
Do you know?
I don't know. Unfortunately, I do not know the answer to that one. I
Because if you're
apologize.
saying that it's in between this amount, like people, what
I
would that look like to? because
I wish I
affordable
had that
housing is-
number. Yeah. So-
Affordable housing is $2,000 minimum for some. So is it staying at that range, or is it underneath?
So I can actually look up those numbers for you if you'd like, but it's not a standard number because it goes by the family size. So if our median income in Jersey City is 67,000 for a one-person household, it's a different number than a number for a four-person household. I'll look up the numbers just so you have a better idea. There is, I think, on our division of affordable, on the division of affordable housing website, which is one of our divisions here, we have that up. You have it, yeah. So we're in the, I'm sorry, we are in the Hudson Region 1. So we'll start with low, which is 50% or below. A one person, that annual income is $42,000. A two person is $48,000, 3, 54, 4, 60, and 5, 65. Now, if we go to the very low, which would be that family, that number household can still apply for those 50% or below. That number goes down to the five person, being 39,000. That's the annual income of all of the folks in that household that earn an income. So it ranges. Let's say if you are in a 5 or 4 family, let's do 4, from 36 to 60 as an annual income for everybody who earns an income in the house.
Okay. And are we doing anything like for the kids in the community, or anything with like affordable commercial spaces on the bottom or anything like that, or no?
So one of the things that is part of this, and is also part of the historic program that we're doing, is there's a gallery space that is going to be like a semi-public, semi-private space that, we have to work with Landmark on that. We don't know exactly what it's going to be, but that will at least preserve some of what that church element was. What that means for people's access, I can't talk about that right now, because that's going to be something that the Landmark division of the state agrees with my client. But that will be something that is semi-public and open to people. Other than that, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have so that ends the public portion of our meeting. Do we have any comments or questions from the commissioners? Any commissioners have any comments or questions?
I have a question. You keep referring to the AMI. What exactly is that?
That's let me see if I remember the exact
median.
average medium income.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
okay.
Sorry, I almost said average monthly income, but that wouldn't
Yeah,
make sense.
yeah.
So,
Okay, I
yes,
just keep
the
referring to it. I'm
average
saying
median income. Yes.
That acronym could be for so many things, I just wanted to.
Mr.
Th-
Allen?
Thank you, Mr.
Commissioner Allen, you have a question?
Yes, I don't know who this question would go to, but I just have a simple question about the apartment above the very top apartment above the loft. How would that have windows on it? if it's,
The clear story windows of the church actually face out from there. So what was
gotcha.
originally clear stories from below
Uh-huh.
are now your actual windows out.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, so that makes sense, okay.
There will be windows in there.
Okay,
yeah.
because I was thinking, if it's at the top, I would have, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and one more question.
Sure.
Will the bell still be active?
I think that'd be cool to do. I can't guarantee
Okay.
that, but that'd be, it'd be nice to restore the church and the bell.
And the
part
bell,
of church.
okay.
But would you want the bell ringing out when it's 7 in the morning?
No.
I don't know.
It would sound good, but no.
Yeah, for someone who wanted to hear it, it would sound
It's
very
okay.
nice.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the commissioners? Okay, could we hear from the staff?
I also wanted to qualify that if a household qualifies based on their annual income, their monthly rent is actually based on 30% of their income. So even if the highest income is 65, it's actually 30% of, if you are a 4-family household and you only make 50, it's 30% of that. It popped up in my head last minute. The conditions are pretty standard. The only two that I assume you've read them. The only two I want to call out, which one of them is a little obvious, is that you comply with the conditions of the historic approvals. But the last one is that the applicant shall complete the church building first or at the same time as the new construction building, and no CO will be granted for the new construction building prior to any CO for the church building.
Okay.
So there's 7 conditions for the record, so it's clear. I know this, at least the memo has been up for a bit, but that is the one that I wanted to call attention to.
Absolutely, and we agree that. I just do want to put on the record that means we can at least commence construction on the new one, but there just will be no CO granted until they've completed the church.
Correct.
All right.
Okay. Okay, based on that, are there any additional questions or concerns from our commissioners? Okay. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to vote with conditions on case Z2025-0004.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve KZ 2025-0004 as presented to the board this evening.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay.
Commissioner-
Mr. Beasley.
Mr. Baisley, before you take roll, I just wanted the record to reflect that just as this hearing started, Commissioner Shadid came in. He was here for the entire testimony, but you might not have him on the roll. So he did come
Okay.
in prior to the start of this.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Beasley.
Commissioner Shadid?
Right there, isn't it? You're still here?
Commissioner Patel?
Aye.
Commissioner Allen?
I can't wait to see this project finish. I'm a yes.
Commissioner Barron?
Yes.
Vice Chair Rule?
Yes.
Chair Coyle?
Yes.
Motion carries, 6 in favor, none opposed.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
everyone.
Good luck.
Thank you, Tom. Mr. Levine.
Before I make a motion to adjourn, I'd
No,
just
no,
like,
we have motions to do before you do that.
we have some motion, oh, we have some, okay. So I guess we have some resolutions to memorialize tonight.
Yes, we do. I can figure out where they are. So the first resolution is case Z20-043, which is a preliminary and final major site plan with C and D variances. That was for 201 Newark Avenue Property LLC. The property was 201 Newark Avenue in Jersey City. That was heard on numerous dates. October 24th, November 14th, December 12th, February 27th, March 27th. February 27th, is that what I said? Yeah. And then March 27th. And, oh, we need that? Really? That's what I projected. No, I don't? Oh, sorry, it's old age. So, who was present? Let's see. Chairwoman Coyle, and then at one time, Chairwoman Arroyo, Vice Chairwoman. Also, Commissioners Burns, Barron, Boyle, Patel, and Zablicki. And that was approved, 7 in favor, none opposed. All in favor of memorializing that?
Aye.
Aye. And then we have a corrective resolution. which is the applicant is 500 Communipaw Avenue LLC. The case is Z20-0081. It's a preliminary and final major site plan approval with C and D variances for 500 and 510 Communipaw Avenue. That was heard September 23rd of 2021, and we memorialized it October 28th of 2021. We're correcting it now. I forgot why, Eric. Why are we correcting this? There was some minor.
Yeah,
there was a
they
ministerial correction.
accidentally omitted a lot
Oh, that's
number.
right. Yes, yeah.
So
yeah.
they just added one of the lot numbers into the resolution.
Right.
So
So,
that's really the
That's what we call
primary.
in the trade ministerial,
Yeah.
whatever that means.
And I believe we wanted to announce on record that it doesn't extend
And
their
That's right.
right. It doesn't extend their time.
Yeah.
They're still operating under that.
Under the
That,
old
that original.
resolution.
Yes.
Sorry, finish, finito. Sorry. Oh, so I thought you wanted me to just keep quiet altogether. It's me. So in the original resolution, it was who voted 5-0. First vote was Chairwoman Coyle, and then Commissioners Ziplicki, Patel, Boyle, and Burns. So all in favor of memorializing this corrective resolution?
Aye.
That's it.
Okay, so before I call for a motion to adjourn the meeting, I'd like to say I didn't welcome you before I just introduced you and said that we had a new commissioner, so welcome to our, and hope you have a good time with us. Welcome to the board.
I had a couple of laughs.
Okay, good. Okay. So I make a motion to adjourn this meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in
Second.
favor? Aye. Meeting adjourned.